Го гледате неделното интервју на Радио Слободна Европа. Наш денешен гостин е британскиот амбасадор во земјава, господинот Чарлс Гарет. Амбасадоре, 3 дена пред официјалното објавување, какви се вашите очекувања од октомврискиот извештај на Европската Унија за напредокот на нашата земја?
I haven't seen the report yet. As you probably know, it's written in Brussels and is the product of many conversations between 28 member states and the Commission. And so not having seen it, I don't know exactly what will be in it. What I expect to be in it, though, is an assessment of the state of Macedonia's progress. It'll set out some areas where Macedonia has moved forward over the last 12 months, and it'll set out some areas where Macedonia still has work to do, requirements for improvement over the next period. I expect it'll be a balanced report.
Реална ли е опасноста за Македонија да ја изгуби препораката за почеток на преговори со Европската Унија?
Yes, there is. There's, as I say, the report is the product of different views from 28 different member states, and they have different views on the state of Macedonia's progress. Some of them have made it quite clear that they believe Macedonia's position is below the line on the Copenhagen criteria. Others believe that Macedonia's position is above the line. And so as long as that debate exists within the European Union, there is that risk that Macedonia might not get a recommendation. The UK's view is that it's above the line, just. We think that Macedonia's situation does meet the Copenhagen criteria, but there are still areas of serious concern, and we would want to continue to work with Macedonia to help improve things in those areas.
Амбасадоре, според вас на реформите во кои области треба повеќе да се работи?
There is a range of different areas, of course. I would pick out 3 for particular mention. I would pick out the area of justice, where there have been improvements in terms of some of the judicial reforms that have been brought in, but also still a lot to do in that field. And that I mention because justice is, or an efficiently operating and judicial system which is fair, which is seen to be fair, is absolutely a foundation stone for a country, for any country. It's a foundation stone of democracy, of a fair society. In this country, it's absolutely essential to good interethnic relations. Second area I'd mention is media. That's important, of course, because it's without a strong and open media, it's much more difficult for democracy to thrive. In fact, it's impossible for democracy properly to thrive without that. And it's also important to a fair society too. The third area I'd mention is interethnic relations. I think that one of the things I've been struck by since I came to Macedonia 4 months ago is that there is, it's obviously an important area to the future of the country. It's one thing for outsiders to come in and talk about these things, and I think for a lot of Macedonians it must be quite frustrating to hear outsiders come and give their opinion about the state of affairs in this country. But I think and I recognise that, but I think also there's some validity in it, because I think sometimes outsiders have a view of things which allows for a more constructive perspective than you sometimes get from within the country.
Веќе го спомнавме политичкиот диалог и покрај обидите да се одмрзне, факт е дека нема напредок на тој план. Како ја коментирате таа појава и какви последици може да има тоа?
Well, I think there's a huge amount at stake here for a lot of people and institutions. There's a lot at stake for the country. There's a lot at stake for democracy within the country. There's a lot at stake for both VMRO and for Citizenma. And as such, I think it's essential that both sides in this situation grip the situation as fast and as firmly as they can, because the sooner we can return to a properly functioning parliament in Macedonia, the sooner we can move forward and protect against the kind of damage that comes from long-term political standoff.
Амбасадоре, што значи за една земја отсуството на опозиција во законодавниот дом?
Well, I think it's really damaging. In a young democracy, one needs constantly to strengthen the institutions and the functioning of those institutions. And at the moment, that's not happening. They're actually being undermined by the current situation. So that's really damaging. But it's damaging in other respects too. We shouldn't forget that over 31% of the votes that were cast in the general election in the spring were cast for parties which are not at the moment citizenship and in the parliament. So that's 31% of people who took part in the elections, whose voice is not being properly heard and whose chosen representatives are not adding their influence to the generation of legislation and to the national debate. It's really very damaging. Parliament is the place, it's the foundation stone of democracy, it's the centre of democracy, it's the place where the national debate happens, where the public's voice is heard. And at the moment it's not functioning properly, so that's extremely damaging.
Веќе ги спомнавте медиумите како област во која треба повеќе да се работи. Амбасадоре, сметате ли дека Македонија има проблем со слободата на изразување?
I think the media sector in Macedonia is in a difficult place. I think there are different reasons for that. For example, the media here, organisations within the sector here face very similar problems to problems faced in just about every market around the world, actually, over commercial issues with falling readership, falling advertising revenue. These are real problems for any business trying to exist within the traditional media sector. On top of that, there are other issues in this country. I sense very strongly since I came here from my conversations with people around the country that editors of newspapers and other media outlets find it easier to deliver certain opinions in their newspapers and so on than other opinions, and that's a dangerous place to be, because you get a one-sided debate, and as long as you've got a one-sided debate within the media, you're not contributing as strongly as you can to democracy. You're not getting the best outcome from it either. You're not getting the best decisions, the best opinions, the best debates.
Кои се вашите очекувања од натамошниот развој на грчко-македонскиот диалог?
Well, that's a dialogue that's been going on for so long now that it's difficult to have high expectations, at least in the short term. I do have high expectations in the long term. I don't think that it's an issue which is beyond resolution. Clearly, with the right sort of leadership and courage and flexibility on both sides, some sort of resolution can be found. It'll be inevitably a solution which is a compromise, and like all good compromises, it'll probably feel on both sides that they've lost something, but that's where the flexibility comes in. It's where the leadership comes in, and it's where the courage comes in. So I think there is definite scope for resolution.
Ако за да се дојде до компромисно решение, како што велите, е потребна флексибилност и политичка волја од двете страни, дали гледате таква подготвеност кај која било од страните за некаква отстапка?
Yes, absolutely I do. I mean, it's not always obvious that, because there's a lot of noise around this issue in both countries, and if you listen only to that noise, you get a relatively negative picture, one which suggests that the two sides are so far apart they'll never come together. But when you listen to the sort of the quieter voices, and the voices which speak a more reasonable approach, then it's obvious that it's in the interests of Macedonia, that's clear, to reach some sort of resolution. It's in the interests of Greece for very similar reasons to reach a resolution. So yes, I believe it is possible.
Амбасадоре Гарет, ви благодарам што бевте гостин во неделното интервју на Радио Слободна Европа.
Thank you.
Вам почитувани, ви благодарам за вниманието. Довидување за една недела.